Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. 8 security personnel and a driver martyred after Naxals attacked a police vehicle in India's Chhattisgarh. US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan holds talks with his Indian counterpart and External Affairs Minister in New Delhi. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau likely to resign as he faces mounting dissent within his Liberal Party. And far-right Freedom Party leader Herbert Kickl may become Austria's next chancellor. At least 8 security personnel and a driver were martyred after a police vehicle came under attack from Naxals in Kutru region of Chhattisgarh's Bijapur district on Monday. The Naxals carried out an IED blast, blowing up the vehicle carrying the soldiers. The security personnel were returning from an operation when the incident took place. The blast took place on the Bedre-Kutru road in the district.
2-3 दिनों से जिला बीजापुर नारायणपुर दंतेवाड़ा के सीमावर्ती इलाके में सुरक्षा बल द्वारा अभियान संचालित की जा रही थी। इस अभियान में टोटल अब तक 5 माओवादियों की डेड बॉडी रिकवर की गई थी। हमारे एक जवान मुठभेड़ में उनका शहादत भी हुआ। तत्पश्चात अभियान की बाद सर्चिंग को पूर्ण करके सुरक्षा बल द्वारा वापस बेस कैंप आ रहे थे। इस दौरान जिला बीजापुर की बेदरे एवं कुट्टू के बीच में अम्बेली के पास माओवादी द्वारा लाए गए एक आईडी ब्लास्ट की चपेट में आने से हमारा एक वाहन आईडी के चपेट में आ गई थी। उसमें सवार हमारा 8 डीआरजी दंतेवाड़ा के जवान का शहादत हो गई, तो उसके एक ड्राइवर का भी शहादत हो गई। कुल 9 का शहादत का भी जानकारी प्राप्त हो रहे थे। उस स्पॉट में अभी रीइंफोर्समेंट टीम और अन्य जितना भी जो इवैक्यूएशन टीम पहुंच गए थे।
US National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan is in India on a 2-day visit. During the visit, Sullivan met with India's counterpart Ajit Doval in New Delhi on Monday. Earlier in the day, US National Security Advisor held a meeting with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and discussed topics on deepening bilateral, regional and global cooperation. Minister Jaishankar said he valued the openness of the conversations in the last 4 years and appreciated Sullivan's personal contribution to forging a closer and stronger India-US partnership. Sullivan also visited the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi, where he delivered remarks on the United States and India building a shared future.
Over the last 4 years, we've joined hands to help halt a pandemic, to bring vaccines to the world. We've launched initiatives on jet engines, semiconductors, and clean energy. And in a few months' time, we'll come together to put an Indian astronaut in space. These are remarkable achievements, and we made them by harnessing the remarkable innovation of the American and Indian people.
And DD India's Jessica Taneja joins us for more. Jessica, tell us more about the US NSA's talk at the Indian Institute of Technology, Delhi.
That's correct, Ramesh. But we are at the Indian Institute of Technology, where the seminar by Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, just ended just about 40 minutes ago, where he had talked about the strengthening relationship between India and the United States, a relationship which has received bipartisan support irrespective of what administration has been in the United States. Now, Donald Trump coming in and his last visit to high-profile visit outside the U.S. before 20th January is certainly significant, where he has met with both the Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval as well as the External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar. But while we're at the seminar, the focus is completely on how the relationship has enhanced in the last 20 years, particular focus on civil nuclear cooperation and also the space commercial space cooperation. that the U.S. administration currently under Biden, with just 15 more days left to go, wants to stress on and hope that the incoming administration of the United States under Donald Trump would continue these initiatives, especially when we talk about the initiative for critical and emerging technologies. We talk about artificial intelligence, we talk about quantum computing, and also let's not forget the crucial sector of semiconductors where the Americans have brought in technology and various different aspects of it. We saw the Micron plant. We also heard from the National Security Advisor, Jake Sullivan, who mentioned the fact that cooperation in the semiconductor sector has been particularly crucial, and especially the ISET, where both NSA Ajit Doval and NSA Jake Sullivan have personally worked towards in the last 2 years. In fact, he mentioned that just last month was the second-year anniversary of ISET, which has been a very critical component of this relationship and also part of America's Indo-Pacific strategy to push and to make India a central aspect of the Indo-Pacific region, along with aiding the global south. So a review of ISET and hopeful that the ISET would continue. But he also talked about IMEC, where he said that because of the October 7th, circumstances have currently changed in the Middle East, and hence when IMEC was announced in 2023 during India's G20 presidency, that has not picked up momentum so far. But he does mention at that point that we will soon see some work around that area. But what was crucial in all of this was the fact that we're talking about a civil nuclear agreement. There was considerable reference and significance put on that because, as he pointed out, 20 years ago is when the civil nuclear agreement was signed. And according to the National Security Advisor of the United States, Jake Sullivan, the last 4 years, the administration seems to be of the view that more has to be done in this, particularly when we talk, we haven't heard the details. From what we can gather is about modular reactors and also the Indian entities on the US list. So all of those things are being firmed up. But we'll have to wait and see as to how this relationship moves forward after 20th January in terms of H-1B visa and, of course, the tariff war that many anticipate would unfold soon.
Jessica, thank you. Right, moving on, North Korea launched a ballistic missile on Monday towards the East Sea. According to South Korea's military, North Korea sent an unknown ballistic missile towards East Sea, also known as the Sea of Japan. In response, South Korea fired a ballistic missile into the sea in a show of force after Pyongyang's salvo of missile launches. The ballistic missile launch is Pyongyang's first this year and comes after its last in November, when it test-fired what it said was its most advanced and powerful solid-fuel intercontinental ballistic missile. Japan's Coast Guard also said North Korea fired what could be a ballistic missile. Pyongyang's first missile launch in 2 months comes as U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken was in Seoul, South Korea, with talks with several government officials, including acting President Choi Sang-mok. Both Blinken and his South Korean counterpart Cho Tae-ryul have condemned the launch, with Washington, D.C.'s top diplomat calling it another violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions.
We condemn the DPRK's missile launch just today, yet another violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions.
The deadline to arrest South Korea's impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol ends on Monday after week-long efforts to bring him into custody failed. Anti-graft investigators had asked the police to take over because of the difficulties they faced. Let's take a look at the latest developments in this report.
Political crisis in South Korea continues as investigators will seek an extension of a warrant to arrest impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol on Monday. The warrant that expires at midnight will be a first for a sitting president. The Corruption Investigation Office, CIO, for high-ranking officials plans to request an extension of the arrest warrant in court. The extension comes on the last day of an arrest warrant for President Yoon over his decision to declare martial law. Visiting U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken reaffirmed confidence in South Korea's handling of the political turmoil. He was speaking at a press conference after meeting with South Korean Foreign Minister Cho Tae-ryul.
We condemn the DPRK's missile launch just today, yet another violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions.
members of the South Korean ruling People Power Party gathered outside the presidential residence in support of the impeached president. On Friday, investigators failed the arrest of Yoon after a standoff with presidential security service guards who formed a human chain to block access to the impeached president. Yoon was impeached by Parliament on December 14th. The Constitutional Court of South Korea is to decide whether to remove him from office permanently or reinstate him. The court has up to 180 days to take a decision. The court on Friday announced that its first formal hearing for President Yoon is to be held on January 14th, followed by January 16th. If Yoon is arrested before that date, the CIO will have 48 hours to either request a new warrant for his formal arrest or release him. But Yoon's lawyers called the arrest warrant illegal and invalid because the CIO did not have the authority under South Korean law to request a warrant. The fate of the impeached South Korean president remains unknown, with face-off between his supporters and the lawmakers taking a new turn every day.
More than 3 months after winning the most seats at federal election, far-right leader Herbert Kickl is on track to become the Freedom Party's first Austrian chancellor in a tie-up with the Conservative People's Party. Austria's President van der Bellen met far-right Freedom Party's leader on Monday to discuss the formation of a new government. Kickl's Freedom Party topped the polls in the autumn's national election with 29.2% of the vote. Justin Trudeau's assurances that his government is in control are coming to an end. Trudeau narrowly survived a string of no-confidence votes. His ally Jagmeet Singh's NDP has signalled support for a no-confidence motion, and Liberal MP Chandra Arya has publicly urged Trudeau to step aside. The economy is stagnant. Elections are due later this year. Tripti Tripathi reports.
For weeks, Justin Trudeau has been assuring Canadians that his government is in control. But the tide has turned. Reports of Trudeau's expected resignation have sparked chaos within the Liberal Party. Facing a caucus revolt and dismal public opinion polls, Trudeau's leadership appears on the brink as Pierre Poilievre's Conservatives surge in popularity. Political tensions are nothing new for Canada. In December, the country faced a dramatic cabinet reshuffle following the abrupt departure of the finance minister. Trudeau has been under mounting pressure ever since, with critics questioning his ability to lead during the turbulent period.
There has been a lot of criticism that he is unduly reliant on the advice, or he heeds the advice of his political advisors far more than he heeds the advice of his caucus. Like the MPs, when MPs go to Ottawa, they expect to have some say, and then they find out that they don't really have some say because so much of the advice is being given by his advisors.
Trudeau's popularity has plummeted in recent months, narrowly surviving a string of no-confidence votes. The pressure escalated when his ally, Jagmeet Singh's NDP, signalled support for a no-confidence motion. To make matters worse, Liberal MP Chandra Arya publicly urged Trudeau to step aside, further fueling the internal crisis. With the economy stagnant and poll numbers plummeting, the Liberals are in damage control. Facing the prospect of losing most of their 153 seats, the party has launched a series of pre-election ads accusing the Conservatives of planning cuts to social security programs. Yes, Trudeau's departure would leave the Liberals without a permanent leader at a critical juncture, as polls predict a sweeping victory for the Conservatives in election due by late October. With agency inputs, Tripti Tripathi, DD India.
US President Joe Biden signed a measure into law that boosts Social Security retirement payments to some retirees who draw public pensions, such as former police officers and firefighters. The Senate voted last month to approve the Social Security Fairness Act, which would repeal 2-decade-old provisions that can reduce benefits for people who also receive a pension. The House of Representatives had approved it earlier. The law removes long-standing provisions and ensures full benefits to retirees. Speaking to reporters at the White House after, Biden said he thought it was awful that President-elect Donald Trump was trying to do away with birthright citizenship. Still to come on DD India Live. Northern India reels under a cold wave. And the 82nd edition of Golden Globe Awards, celebrating the best in film and television, concludes.
Complex issues, hidden agendas, twists and turns, strategic games. We think all dots are linked. We just need to connect them. Join me every week as I connect the dots to unravel hidden designs in statecraft, mysteries, and decode issues that matter to you. Watch Connecting the Dots with me at these times on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. India's northern region has been under a spell of cold wave conditions, while in J&K, fresh snowfall has hit air traffic, leaving all flights at the Srinagar International Airport cancelled. An orange alert was issued predicting widespread snowfall. In Himachal Pradesh, the state meteorological department has issued an orange alert of heavy snowfall and rainfall till the 7th of January. In Delhi NCR, moderate rainfall lashed parts on early Monday, bringing down the temperature in the national capital. That also impacted flights and trains.
Western disturbance has already given a lot of thunderstorm activity over Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Punjab, Haryana, and even hailstorms over Delhi. We are expecting hailstorm and thunderstorm activity to start today over Uttarakhand and northwest Uttar Pradesh.
More than 60 million Americans are under winter weather alerts as a huge winter storm brings the heaviest snowfall and coldest temperatures in over a decade. DD India's Kajal reports.
A winter storm swept across a dozen states in the US on Sunday, blanketing vast regions with snow, coating roads in ice and plunging temperatures to freezing levels. The storm caused travel and work disruptions from Kansas City to Washington as it advanced eastward. The US National Weather Service issued winter storm warnings for around a dozen states. It has predicted 4 to 8 inches of snowfall in the Kansas City with limited visibility and winds of up to 40 mph. More than 60 million people faced weather alerts, leading to nearly 2,200 flight cancellations and over 25,000 delays. A state of emergency has been declared in Kentucky, Virginia, Kansas, Arkansas, and Missouri. The storm will move offshore by Monday night with bone-chilling Arctic air behind it. The daytime temperatures on Monday and Tuesday are predicted to be 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit below average from the Great Plains to the East Coast. Meanwhile, heavy snowfall caused an avalanche in Utah. The dramatic visuals captured the cascading avalanche down the snow-covered mountain. The scene was viewed from inside a car parked on a remote icy mountain road. Snow and ice forced the grounding of dozens of flights in Europe on Sunday, disrupting the end of the busy New Year holiday travel season. Kajal's report for DD India.
The geopolitical situation around the world remains difficult as there is conflicts in Ukraine, West Asia and other regional conflicts. There's a new administration about to take over in Washington, D.C. that might change the global trade landscape. And yet, corporations around the world are doing better than ever. Lars Holter is with Deutsche Welle and he joins me from Berlin. Lars, there's a new report out on how companies were doing last year. What can you tell us?
It's a report by consultant firm Ernst & Young that looks at the 100 most valuable companies worldwide as measured by their market valuation or by their stock market value. Now, it's seen as a bit of good news here in Germany that 3 German companies actually made that list. That would be a software giant SAP, as well as the industrial conglomerate Siemens, and Deutsche Telekom as a telecommunication provider. Well, last year it was only 2 German firms on that list, but German participation, as well as that of most other countries, in fact, is relatively moderate. The list is strongly dominated by the United States. 62 of those 100 most valuable companies are American. 9 out of the top 10 companies are American, and that includes all the big tech companies, including Apple in first place with a valuation of $3.8 trillion, followed by chipmaker Nvidia and Microsoft. There's Amazon, Alphabet, and Meta. Those latter 2 obviously are the parent companies of Google and Facebook. Generally, tech and especially IT are the strongest on the list. That sector makes up a quarter of the listed companies, and their valuation is up 40% over last year.
And what about the European companies in general, Lars? Are they faring better?
Not much. Of course, there are some great European companies. That includes Denmark's pharmaceutical firm Novo Nordisk on the 14th rank. But in general, there are only 18 European companies who even made the cut. And that is quite a reversal from just a few years ago. In 2007, that would be before the global financial crisis, there were 46 European companies in the top 100 and only 23 US-based companies. So it is simply astonishing to see how massively the influence of US companies has grown. And that makes it all the more important that we're getting some sensible policies out of Washington in years to come. And that, of course, is what everyone is hoping for when the next Trump administration starts. But there are many, for good reason, who are very skeptical.
Right, Lars, thank you. Lars Holter reporting there from Berlin. Right, moving on, take a look now at what else is making news around the world. The Appeals Court of Malaysia granted a bid by jailed former Prime Minister Najib Razak on Monday to see a document he said should allow him to serve his sentence at home. In a 2-1 decision, the Court of Appeal granted Najib's appeal to overturn the lower court's dismissal of his previous request. Japan's Prime Minister Ishiba Shigeru expressed strong concerns regarding future investment between Japan and the United States on Monday, urging the American government to address these issues. This follows the decision by outgoing President Joe Biden to block Nippon Steel's proposed acquisition of U.S. steel. Tech companies are showcasing mental health tools at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, the U.S. These include a device that measures cortisol levels from saliva. It provides a quick result through a mobile app and helps users assess stress. The 82nd edition of the Golden Globe Awards, celebrating the best in film and television, concluded on Sunday. Films such as The Brutalist and Emilia Perez took home the top honors. While many of the wins were expected, some came as a surprise. Diptanshu Kashyap brings us more.
The Spanish-language surreal narco musical Emilia Perez took home 4 awards at the 82nd Golden Globe Awards, including Best Motion Picture in the musical or comedy category. Meanwhile, the period epic The Brutalist, set in the post-Holocaust era, won 3 awards: Best Motion Picture Drama, Best Director and Best Actor for Adrien Brody.
I hope that this work stands to lift you up a bit and to give you a voice. And I'm so grateful. I will cherish this moment forever. Thank you.
The Indian production All We Imagine as Light received 2 nominations, including Best Director for Payal Kapadia, but lost to Brady Corbett for The Brutalist. Other notable winners in the film category included Sebastian Stan, Demi Moore, Zoe Saldana, Kieran Culkin, and Fernanda Torres, who won Best Actress in a Drama.
This is a film that helps us to think how to survive in tough times like this.
In television, the Japanese historical epic Shogun claimed 4 Golden Globes, including Best Drama Series and Best Actor for Hiroyuki Sanada. Other winners in the TV categories included Jeremy Allen White, Jodie Foster, Jean Smart, and Colin Farrell.
I'm so happy to be here with these great nominees.
The ceremony, hosted by comedian Nikki Glazer, took place at the Beverly Hilton in Beverly Hills, California. The evening's victories have heightened the chances of these film winners taking home an Academy Award at the 97th Oscars set for March 3rd this year. Diptanshu Kashyap's report for DD India.
And that's all for this edition of DD India Live. Do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those of you on the go, the DD India mobile app has the latest news and updates from around the world. It's available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code on the screen to download it now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. And Ramesh Ramachandran. From all of us here in New Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.